DiyDreaming, and on this video tutorial I'm going to show you some really fun and easy and super affordable projects that you can do using embroidery hoops, canvas duck that you can get at any fabric store, some stencils that have the Nativity on them, some little bits of canvas and lace, and maybe some buttons. So it should be really fun. As you're hopping on, say hello, let me know where you're watching from, feel free to sprinkle all that normal good stuff. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. This is the ornament that I made this morning to get ready to come live. And this is a 4-inch embroidery hoop that I picked these up at Walmart. They were like $1 or $2 a piece. And then I used some silver ink to stencil this piece of canvas. I put it inside my hoop, and this time I did cover the back of it, and I'll show you how to do that. I put some jute through the little mechanism that closes it, and I made this little bow. So this is the idea of where we're going, and we're going to do a really little one, and then we're going to do a big one, and then we're going to do one of these 4-inch. So, okay, let me tell you about these embroidery hoops right here. All right, these came from a store called Hobby Craft in England. When we were there over the summer for our nephew's wedding, I hunted down this craft store because there's not a ton of them in England, and I bought these adorable embroidery hoops. They're a little different from how they operate in the United States, and I'm hoping, I haven't used them yet, that they're going to work okay, but these are like a plastic that fits over the little ring in the center. Normal embroidery hoops work like this. So if you've never worked with an embroidery hoop, I'm just going to show you the basics. Okay, they come like this. There's an inner and an outer ring, and then generally they have this tightening or fastening. It's like a little screw on the top, and that loosens how tight the outside ring is, okay? So then you put your, whatever it is, over your inside ring, and you put your outside ring on, and then you just tighten it by screwing this little mechanism. So that's basically how they operate. They come in a ton of different sizes. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. This is some canvas duck fabric that I picked up recently at Hobby Lobby. They had a great sale. And we are going to stencil 2 pieces. Okay, the first one we're going to do is this one. We're going to stencil the whole entire thing, but I don't think we're going to use the whole entire thing. Okay, so this says, "Wise men still seek him." Isn't that awesome? And it is a stencil from MagnoliaDIY.com. And these are adhesive. They're reusable many, 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 many times. They're great. I have something. I guess it's just the fabric. Okay, so you might have noticed that I did not fuzz that, and the reason why, let's switch back just a little bit, is because there's no point fuzzing on fabric before you're going to stencil on fabric. I'm doing all this stuff lately for my house, for my Christmas tree, and for my family room. And so I'm using metallics. And I think for this one, I'm going to use silver. But Magnolia has copper. copper, and these are ink. They have gold, they have rose gold, they have silver, and then they have another color called glittering black. Maybe we'll do it in glittering black. I think we will. Which I've been using this a ton. Okay, so ink is for fabric, and after it's dry, it needs to be heat set if you're going to handle it a lot or if it's ever going to need to be washed. And I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. So this is the glittering black. It's a great color. I've been using the glittering black chalk paste like a crazy person lately. So I just put some blobs on here. This canvas is woven pretty tight, so I'm not worried about it going through. And even if it did, it would just get on my little mat here, which it wouldn't hurt it a bit. I could get it right off. So I'm going to apply my ink, make sure I get everything covered, and I'm going to pull off the globs. So you want, especially when you're working with fabric, you want to get your ink on and then stop, which that's the hardest thing. Don't keep going over and over and over it, because when you do that, what happens is you end up pushing too much of your medium, this ink, through the holes of the stencil and underneath, and then it looks fuzzy. Okay, so I've got everything covered. I'm just going to quickly scrape off any excess. I'm using the flat side of my squeegee. Okay. And let's see how it looks. Hopefully it looks good. Yes, it does. Oh, this is such a pretty stencil. Okay, I see one little tiny spot that I missed, but we're going to fix that. And I'm just putting my stencil in a little tub of water over here. Okay, this is easy enough to fix. Perfect. We'll never know. Okay. And then I'm going to make sure I get my lid on pronto. Look at this. Let me cut it out. Just trying to decide how much I might need, because I'm not sure where my embroidery hoop is going to sit, so I'm just going to cut a big piece. And with the ring light you can't tell, but this is a glittering black ink and it's lovely. What do you guys think? So my plan was to put it in this hoop, but I don't think it's going to be dry in time to be able to do that. So I might have to do this one off camera. So let me set this over here and let's start another one. All right. This is an awesome stencil that says Jesus is the reason for the season. And we'll do this in this same size here. And then we'll do, I have one that's ready to go that I'll show you how to assemble the whole thing. And then we'll do this little one that came from the Christmas minis, which they are awesome. Every year they do a new set. And this is 2022. You get 12 little stencils, and one of them is this Nativity. And then this one says Spread Joy. Here's a little truck with a tree. These are great for making ornaments and that kind of thing. So first thing I'm going to do, so I know where I want to be basically, is I'm going to draw a circle about an inch out from my embroidery hoop. Doesn't have to be perfect. And this is definitely not perfect on that one, and then on this one. We'll still probably need to trim it. And let me just cut these puppies out here real quick. So I get a ton of questions about canvas duck. What is it? It is just like a canvas that's nice and thick, and it comes in different colors. This is sort of the oatmeal-y creamy color. There's also generally a white. I have canvas duck in red. I have canvas duck in a light gray. But I like this oatmeal color the best of all of them. I really do. So it's just really, it's a nice kind of thick, sturdy fabric with a tight weave. And you can get it. I used to get mine all the time at Walmart for like, I don't know, $5 or $6 a yard. But the problem with Walmart at this point is that there's never anyone at my local Walmart, which is super close to where I live. There's never anyone in the craft department, so I have to go hunt down somebody from electronics or something to come and cut some fabric for me, and they never know how to do it. So it's kind of a hassle. So I've been recently getting my canvas duck at Hobby Lobby. Any fabric store or craft store are likely going to have it. Okay, let's do this one first. This is a big stencil, but we're really just using the bottom. Oh, and one thing I do like to do before I stencil is I like to get a little bit of an impression on the fabric. You'll see what I mean. It kind of creates a crease. Super tight. So I'm just going to put it on before I actually do it. And when I pull it off, you can see where it's going to be. And we're going to use this other hoop over here because this one is super duper tight. So what is everyone doing? Did everyone see the Christmas tree pictures that I posted yesterday? I just got started on our tree, and it will likely evolve quite a bit before Christmas is here. Okay, let's do this one in the rose gold. That'll be pretty. So a lot of the ornaments that we have made recently are on my tree, and I am loving it. I'm not going to get any of the writing that says Jesus is the reason for the season, because obviously this embroidery hoop is way too small for that. Let's pick up all the excess. So basically what I did is I just stenciled the nativity part at the bottom. And I'm going to pull it up. And it's going to be beautiful. Throwing this in my tub of water. And this is what it looks like. So that also is going to take a little while to dry. Set it right there. All right, and then for this littler one, we're going to try this hoop from England and see, I don't know how these work, if it is going to work or not. Yes, it is. And then basically what you do is you trim the back, which I'll show you in a minute, and you glue it on the inside, and then we'll cover it with a circle that will fit this perfectly. Okay, so now I've got my impression of where I'm going. And we're going to use this little piece from the Christmas minis. So I see lots of people on. Thank you so much for the stars. I really appreciate that. Oh, I need to mark this. I usually just use a black Sharpie to write on the back so that I know which side to put my stencil back on when it's clean and dry, because that is important. There's a shiny side and a matte side. And sometimes they look pretty similar and it can be hard to tell. So okay, I'm going to do this one in copper. This is not going to take very much ink at all to cover this teeny little stencil. Cindy? Yes, it's ink. Somebody was watching. Charlene, thank you so much for the stars. I appreciate that. This is what it looks like. And this is what it looks like. So it's going to be adorable. Let me put this over here. I'm going to throw my stencil face down in my tub of water until I can get it out to the kitchen. Okay, so before I came live, I did a few things so that you would be able to see the whole entire process. And which one of these is the good one? Usually when your embroidery hoops come, this little mechanism is screwed all the way as tight as it can go. So I'm going to loosen this. And I have already heat set this, but let me show you how you do that. Okay, my iron is not really on, but let me talk you through it. Okay, so you're going to take your fabric that you have stenciled with ink, and you're going to put it on your ironing board or whatever surface you normally iron on. You're going to set your iron, if the fabric can tolerate it, and canvas definitely can, on cotton, no steam. So cotton, no steam. And then I usually take a piece of parchment paper and lay that over the top of my stenciled fabric just to protect the surface of my iron. And you're just going to kind of move your iron around for 3 or 4 minutes. And then, especially if it's a t-shirt or a tea towel or something, this can get washed a lot. Do the back of it for 3 or 4 minutes. And what happens is the ink, it like, I don't want to say melt because that's not the right word, but it kind of goes into the fabric. So then the fabric, it's permanent. It can be washed and dried, and your design in ink is never going away. There's no way to achieve that with chalk paste. I do get that question a lot too. You can't heat set chalk paste and make it permanent. You just can't. Okay, so that now I'm going to take my little hoop, the back piece, and I'm going to fiddle around with this a little bit to see where I want it to be. So I'm going to have this mechanism at the very top because that's what we're going to hang our ornament through. And now I'm going to just tighten it. And it's just pulling this outside piece tight around the inside. Okay. So now I'm going to trim it, and then we'll go on to the next steps. And I have trimmed these too small before and been sorry because I wasn't able to get it glued down the way I wanted. So leave at least 3/4 to an inch, roughly, around the edge. And we can trim it more if it turns out that we need to do that. Okay, so let's do the hook or the loop first. And I'm using my favorite natural polished hemp from Walmart Crafts. This is found in the jewelry making section. And what I like about this is if you're going to use beads or anything else, it's polished, so it's easy to string beads on it. We're not going to use beads for this, although you certainly could. I'm just going to poke one end that's folded in half through this little hole, and then I'm going to pull the tail through it and pull it tight. And this is what is going to hang it. And then you can do a double knot, however long or short you like your hangers to be. Okay, so that's usually how I do mine. Now let's do the back. Let me get my hot gluing device out. I am using my Sherbonder Cool Shot low temperature hot gluing device. They don't like us to say GUN. Facebook doesn't. So I don't want to get my whole thing shut down for saying that silly word. So anyways, this is made by Sherbonder. They have a big one. This is a mini, and it has a plug. So you can go fancy and get a cordless one. You can get one that uses the big glue sticks. This is under $10. You can find it at pretty much every craft store. And for me, it's the perfect size. Okay, so now I'm going to just put some glue kind of right over the edge. The edge of my hoop. So it's going kind of right just on the inside of that. And then I'm just folding that into it. And you could leave it like this if you wanted, but sometimes ornaments flip around, and I don't want anyone to see this mess. So I'm going to show you how to cover it. super easy. And if you choose to do the back cover, it just looks a little more, I don't know, professional or polished or something, finished. See, that looks messy. If your ornament was on your tree and it flipped around backwards, that is what people would see, and we don't want that. So we're not going to leave it like that. So I'm going to just take another little spot on my canvas, and I'm using a pencil, and I'm going to trace this right at the edge. So here's what I have. Cut that out. So you can see where I traced it. Last year I made some adorable embroidery hoop ornaments that had, what were they called? They had the Christmas quads. So there was one that said, deck the halls. I mean, there were 4 different ones. And I can't remember what the other one said. But anyways, they were pretty, but they were black and cream. And this year I'm going more for cream with metallics. So we're just making some new ones. Okay. And I'm going to glue this side that has the pencil, or whatever might be left of the pencil, on it. Okay, and I'm just looking and I feel like it's just a little bit big. And you can trim it after a little bit too if you need to. Okay, so I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm just putting some glue. Right along the edge. Too big up here. Next, we're going to talk about embellishing them. And there are just a million different things that you could do. But my tree has a very distinct look. And so I'm going to use some little bits of canvas and lace and a vintage button to finish mine off. Okay, so I can see where it's too big. All right, so I'm going to use just some little bits and pieces of some of this stuff. And I wanted to mention, did you guys see this, this video? I did these this week. If you missed it, then you probably have no idea what this is. This is a wiffle ball covered in Dollar Tree rope, and you can see kind of what it has going on the top. This also is a wiffle ball covered in a different kind of Dollar Tree rope, and they have buttons and stuff on them. So this is sort of the look that I'm going for with these embroidery hoops. All right, and I'm just going to take some of this and I'm going to show you a stacked up kind of messy-ish looking bow. Fold it in half, do a dovetail on either end. Okay, and then let's do some of this canvas. And you can make your bows as thick or whatever you like. I'm going to do probably 3 layers. Or maybe 4. Thank you so much for all those stars, you guys. Wow. So to get started, I'm just going to kind of crisscross those, and then we'll crisscross these. And then let's do some little bits of this kind of lace. So this is way too long. Cut them shorter. And then I'm going to do some of this Dollar Tree lace. I love this stuff. Every time I go to Dollar Tree, I buy another spool of this because I use it so much. It looks like this. And it's, what does it say? Lace ribbon, $1.25. It's great. It's a perfect color for everything that I like to do in my house. It's affordable. It's easy to work with. Okay, and then I am using some of these little zip ties. These are Crafter's Toolbox by Doris. I think they came from Joann's, but I'm not 100% certain. So I'm just going to hold my bow down and start cinching this up. And I'm going to move it to the back. And this is what you get. Perfect, huh? So I'm going to cut the tail off. And let's find a button, a vintage button that's going to look good with this. Too pink. My button supply, ooh, that could be pretty. My button supply is definitely getting thin. I need to find some more. I'm looking for a big one that I can layer. Some of my really big ones are chipped. That's gonna work just fine. Glue that on the center of this little bow. And then we're going to kind of poke it a little bit in this hole at the top so it doesn't cover everything up. And then I can glue some of the sides over just a little bit so that they don't cover up the top of this nativity set. And da-da-da! It's got all kinds of crumbs on it, but look how, strings off, look how pretty that is. And here's the first one that I did before I came live. So it'll be the same deal with the smaller one that we're going to put in this hoop, and probably about a very similar deal with the one that we're going to put in this hoop, which is this bigger one right here that says wise men still seek him. So let's fiddle with it for just a minute and see. Just get a little peek to see what that might look like, although it still feels a little bit wet. For this one, I want all of the words. These hoops from England are different. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is going to be so pretty. Look at that. So I'm not going to fiddle around with this one anymore right now because I want it to fully dry and I need to take it out and heat set it. But I hope you liked this idea, and I hope that it was helpful for me to show you how you can cover the back. You can do that with any size embroidery hoop project that you might be doing. This one looks like it needs a little trimming around the edges a little bit more. Which way is up and down? There we go. I'm backwards to myself when I'm looking at myself in my camera. So thank you guys so much for joining me. If you would like a link to the Wise Men Still Seek Him, the Christmas minis that had that little nativity, or this larger stencil that had this on it that said Jesus is the reason for the season, or you want chalk paste or anything else, just let me know. You can say link, or you can let me know specifically what you want a link for if it's something other than what I used today, and I would be glad to grab that for you so you don't have to go and hunt it down. Rosemary, I'll get you a link just as soon as I'm finished here, because I know that sometimes when you go to a website, you're looking, but you don't know where to find different things or even how to search. So that's why I try to always give direct links just to make it easy for you. All right, well, have a blessed and wonderful rest of your day. Thank you, Helga. She says she enjoyed this. Angela, I'll get you a link just as soon as I'm finished. Thank you so much for watching. Do a this or a this. That's a thumb or a heart. Or say something to me in the comments if you want to see what's coming up. Check to see if you've liked and followed this page. Thank you so much for the stars, feel free to sprinkle. Let me know how I can help you out. If you have other questions, don't hesitate to ask. And I will get these all finished. I have 3 more to do. I'll get them all finished. I'll get pictures of them. And then I'm going to put the smaller ones on my Christmas tree. So I'll get pictures of that and put them here in the comments as well as just on DIY Dreaming. So come back and look for that later. And have a... Oh, Linda, thank you so much for the stars. I really appreciate that. Have a really wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.